Hi there. I'm just going to wait just a couple minutes here. I'm just a minute early. Let people get on before we start. I always wait for that notice to come across that says I'm live because that's notifies everybody that follows me so that they can have a minute to get on and join us before we get started. Hi friends, I'm Penny Hunt and this is Penny Heart to Heart. I've been coming to you every day, 3 o'clock Mountain Time, and chatting with you about what is going on in our world and giving ideas and tips about things we can do and to keep ourselves up and happy and motivated and connected. And the other ulterior motive I have is I am a talker, so I love to talk to people, and being in my home for this is day nine for me to be in my home. This gives me an outlet to talk to you and feel like I'm with people and friends, and so I come to you every day, 3 o'clock Mountain Time, and this is day 9. I have all of these live videos up on my YouTube channel, so if you've missed some, or if you want to binge watch on my live videos, they're up on my YouTube channel, which is just YouTube at Pennie Hunt, youtube.com, Pennie Hunt, /Pennie Hunt. And you can also scroll down through Facebook and look at all of them. So, day 9. I want to talk to you today about communication. I write and talk and always have written and talked a lot about communication. Communication is huge for me. In fact, I always say it's all communication. Everything, every problem, every issue that we have in life, I believe can come back to communication or lack of or a problem with communication. So I want to talk today just a little bit about communication and what's happening with it now. You know, when I was a little girl, before I start, I want to just remind you about the book giveaway. I've been giving a book away, started giving a book away on Fridays. The cutoff is Friday, so if you just put in the comment section, I'd love your book. And then from Saturday through Friday, I take all the names of the people who commented that and put them in a drawing and draw out a winner for a book. And I just notified the winner for last week this morning. So she's excited, and I'll be mailing a book to Louisiana. That's where the winner lives for last week. So put your name, or in your comment bar, just put, I'd love your book, and you'll be in the drawing. So communication. When I was a little girl, we had a party line. Now that ages me just a little bit, because if you don't even know what a party line is, or have never heard of a party line, that means you're much, much younger than me. We had a party line, so my siblings and I would pick up the phone very quietly, and we could hear these women talking. And some of the people that were on our party line, because it was a group of people, were some women that spoke German. And I remember listening to them speak in German, and we try to be as quiet as we can, and then they'd say, "Who's on the phone?" And we'd hurry up and hang up, because we weren't supposed to do that. We weren't supposed to listen to the other people on our party line's conversation. So a party line meant that there was several families or several phone numbers attached to one line. So when you picked up the phone to make a call, you had to listen to see if anybody was using it, and if they were, you hung up. And if they weren't and the line was free, you could use it. That really does age me, but it's true. When I was little, we had a party line. And then I remember it was a glorious day when they changed that, and we all had our own phone line, so it didn't matter. The phone was always available to us, other than we had more than one phone in the house. So if my brother or sister was on the phone and I wanted to make a call and they were already on, they'd tell me to get off. So the progression of what our communication, especially through phones, has gone through is pretty amazing to me. And now I remember when my dad got the first cell phone, and it was in a suitcase. And he was so proud of his little suitcase he'd carry around with his phone in it. And I don't think he let any of us use it, but he carried that little suitcase everywhere. And I remember making fun of him, thinking how crazy that was to carry a phone with you, let alone in a little suitcase. And now we all have cell phones. I will tell you, I remember a time when I thought the only use for a cell phone was if I was out shopping or running around, that I could call and order pizza and have it delivered so that by the time I got home it would be there. And I thought that might be useful. But now most people don't even have a landline. We just use our cell phone. I also remember when the beepers came out, and that's how we communicated. But this progression of how we've learned to communicate, and now most of us, if we have a cell phone and we text, I know some people in my life don't like to talk on the phone. I am a talker. I can spend hours talking in person, on the phone, in front of a group. It doesn't matter. I am a talker. I have a lot of words to say. And so I want to talk. And there are people in my world that aren't like that. And they will text. They will answer a text if you ask a question. If you just make a comment, they might not reply to your text because you haven't asked them a question. I've learned that as well. But we all have learned this progression of communication and how we all communicate and stay in touch. The reason I want to talk about this today is because now that we are in our homes, we are supposed to be in our homes, not interacting with other people too much, not going out in public, trying to isolate as much as we can because of this virus that's going around our world. And so communication, and once again, is changing. I can't call up one of my friends and say, meet me for coffee at the local coffee shop like I do often. I can't go out to lunch with friends. And so for me, being able to connect with people and talk to friends has dramatically changed. So I want to tell you some ideas, and some of these are not my ideas at all. They're just things that I am seeing. The other night, a friend of mine through the National Speakers Association that I've met, who lives in Colorado, sent out a message and said, who wants to play Yahtzee? And she picked a night, and there was 6 of us that were able to do this, and she did it through Zoom. So on the screen, we could see all 6 of our faces, and we played Yahtzee. My husband thought this was hilarious because he heard me laughing and giggling in here. I'm sitting in my home office, and I was just like this with my iPad set in front of me on the screen. And so 6 of us from all over the place were playing Yahtzee and laughing and talking and interacting and communicating in a new way. So it wasn't like we could get together like so many people do and play cards, play bridge, or bunco is another thing that groups get together to do, or men get together with their poker groups and play. We can't do that right now. But there are different ways of communicating right now, and I believe that communicating is so important for humans, for us. We have to have this interaction. We have to have some social activity to keep ourselves stable and sane and happy and healthy through this difficult time. I have also seen people online, and I haven't done this one, but I think it's a great idea, and I plan to do this with my friends, is to have virtual coffee so that I can call my friends that I used to call and say, meet me at the local coffee shop, and I can say, hey, at 2 o'clock, let's do FaceTime, or whatever kind of phone you have. Maybe you do it through Zoom or however you do it. Or if you don't do this face-to-face thing, maybe you just say, let's have a cup of coffee on the phone and sit and chat for a while. I've also seen people doing virtual lunches and dinners with friends and couples. So if you have close friends, if you have a spouse and you have another couple that you're used to seeing and used to doing things with, I am seeing people online doing virtual dinners where you pick a time and you have your dinner and they have theirs, and you set the screen up so that you can talk and chat, just like if you were at a restaurant. There's so many different things that we can do. And I think it's really important right now that we think of the people that are alone. I am so lucky because I am, yes, housebound right now and trying real hard to stay that way. But I have my husband with me and I have my 2 little dogs that you hear me talk about. And there are people, my kids have their families with my grandkids with them. So they are families together housebound. But there are people out there that are alone. And so what we need to do when we think about communication is check in with those people, check in with them, whether it is by a phone call or a text, or I talked one of my very first one of these, I said, let's make a troubleshooting guide and make a list of things we can do that make us feel good. And one of them was helping others and reaching out with people, to people. So writing notes, the mail is still coming. So writing notes to people that you know are alone, and especially older folks. I shared with you that my mom was in assisted living before she passed last summer. And so I got to know some of those people in that facility well, and I miss them. And last week I sent notes to a couple of them that I really connected with and felt like I knew well, and I know that they're in that facility, and those type of facilities are not letting visitors in. So I sent them notes in the mail. Yesterday, I sat down and I wrote text to a lot of my friends that I hadn't heard from yet in the last couple weeks during all of this, and said, hey, how are you doing? Are you working from home? Do you have toilet paper? I mean, those are the kind of things we're talking about now. That is what we're communicating now. But check in with them. Make sure that they are okay. Yesterday, I also sent messages through Facebook. You see, we have so many outlets. If you don't text them directly, if they are your Facebook buddies, I have a neighbor down the street that I didn't know if she was here home or had gone to stay with family. And I sent her a message through Facebook and said, hey, are you here? Are you doing okay? Because I know she's alone. So communication right now is so important. And yesterday, I think I mentioned that we can easily get glued to the news and the television and just be bombarded with this story after story after story of the coronavirus. And that can start to be very heavy on our hearts, very heavy on our minds. And so maybe a little bit of that kind of communication is a great thing. We need to stay on top of it. We need to know what's going on. We need to know, especially locally, what's happening, because they're changing here every day. Something new is mandated to shut down or close, or what you can and can't do. But we need to know that. But we also, I don't think it's healthy if we're just 24 hours a day in front of the television or the news listening to that. So let's shift our communication a little bit. Instead of having just one-way communication with all that news coming to us and bombarding us, let's go back to some two-way communication and touch in with people that we know and care about and love, and come up with creative ways to keep a new twist on some of the things that are normal to us. For example, game night, doing it through a Zoom like my friend set up, and it was great fun. Dinners with friends, doing it with a screen online. And all of these virtual ways that we can do things. I'd love to hear some new ideas about what you're doing and how you are communicating with people. I am trying to FaceTime with my kids and keep up with them and the grandkids and see what everybody's doing. And it's important for me to see their faces. None of us know how long this is going to last. None of us know how long we're going to be told to stay safely in our homes. And so it's important for me to see their faces and talk to them. And I know that we're missing out on events. My grandkids I have twins, grandsons that had a birthday last week, and we were going to have them over for dinner, and none of that happened because we're not supposed to be even seeing family, because it's dangerous if they have been out in the world and then they bring it to you. And we've learned that some people can carry the virus and have no symptoms. And so extra caution right now. But Also, in that caution, let's stay human and let's stay connected and let's communicate. I did a link here for one that I wrote several years ago about communication that I love. I talk about communication a lot, so you can go read that. Writing, if you'd like to. Again, if you want to be in the drawing for the book this week, in the comment bar, put "I'd love your book" or "I love your book." And even if you watch this later, if it's not live and you watch it later, you can still comment, and that counts. I will put you in the drawing. So I'm not sure when I'll get to the post office, but I might go a couple weeks and have a couple winners and then go to try to get to the post office and mail them, just depending on what's happening. I thank you so much for spending time with me. I hope that you're enjoying these lives and listening to these tips and techniques, and I really hope that you communicate back to me and tell me what kind of things you're doing and if any of these you're going to implement into your life, and if you do, how does that work? So tomorrow, 3 o'clock, I already know what I'm going to talk about tomorrow, so don't miss it. Come and join me, and don't be afraid to comment and ask me questions during this, because that's what it's all about, communicating. So I'm Pennie Hunt. This has been Pennie Heart to Heart. Thanks for watching.